Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
And special guest stars, my little Jack Russell Tucker running around and my 4.5-month-old daughter hanging out in the studio because I'm bacheloring it tonight.
Baby on the pod.
Baby on pod. Yeah, right. So
3 assholes, a baby, and a dog.
that's our new movie that's going to be coming out.
Right.
Like new Netflix series. We have to stay with them because we've already created other ones. So.
Right.
Did you just provide our earliest bleep at 40 seconds in? I think you did.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Set a new pod record.
Thanks for doing that while my daughter sits over here.
So earmuffs. Truce! And then just go off.
Earmuffs. I think she's safe now. If she remembers any of this, good for her.
Yeah.
So
that's what you think until about 20 minutes in. We're talking about Arsenal. All of a sudden you hear, you're like, who said that?
Well,
the corner
you
did.
said Arsenal. She probably learned it from me.
All of a sudden we hear from the back, ass.
Wait, what's the one from Meet the Ass? How many are we at now?
I don't know, but
we're gonna set the record.
We're up to like $10 already.
Yeah, we're at a ton.
It's our swearwolves jar.
We're werewolves, not swearwolves. Again, as in the previous pod, our movie recommendation is What We Do in the Shadows. Brilliant New Zealand film by the director of Thor Ragnarok. But besides that, what we actually talk about is craft beer and soccer. We're going to talk about the Premier League, a little bit of Champions League stuff that just occurred.
Some of the MLS.
Europa League had some news today. As we sit down to record, but first things first, we got to get introduced to a new beer. And the beer of the pod is Ron's today.
Okay.
Which is good, because Ron is about to go globe hopping over the next month, so
yeah,
it's going to be on me and Ferris for the rest of the month.
A month of call-ins, trotting the globe, trying some good beer.
New beers at all of them.
I can't wait.
Does that make you Ron the Globetrotter?
What is that? Why is that a punchline?
Harlem Globetrotters.
How's it go? What's the
what is it now?
Yeah. I was just trying to do the whistle and then the Globetrotter theme.
Yeah.
It won't come to me.
I can hear it. I just can't.
Yeah,
whistle.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I can see the dude spinning the. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my gosh, it's gonna make me nuts. And like an hour into the pod, I'm gonna freak someone out when I start whistling it, and because it comes to me all of a sudden. All I can do is I can see the blue, white, and red ball spinning, and the sound of
spinning on his finger. Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy. That's for our other podcast, Globetrottering now.
Maybe if we figure it out,
if we figure out the theme song.
Awesome.
So I need
spots off to a great start.
I need a beer. So let's turn this over to Ron.
All right. So a brewery we have not had on the pod. Brand new.
Second in a row, right? Because
we've never had it on there.
Right.
That means
no.
First,
we've had some new ones lately. So
all right.
I was like, no, I just said it's new to the pod. The second in a row.
It's like a pod in a row.
I got you. So, it is named for the Orlando City match that we just had, or at least that's how I'm correlating it.
Okay.
It is a brewery out of Quebec, Canada.
Ooh.
Is it the Le Fin du Mont?
No.
Is that them? Oh no.
I mean, that's the beer they do.
Oh, that's right. I can't think of the name of the company.
Unibrew.
That's what it is.
Yeah, Unibrew, and it's Trois Pistoles.
Trois Pistoles.
Is it 3 goals by Orlando City?
Tres.
So I had to get Trois Pistoles. It's amazing beer. So
somebody else scored 3 goals this week. I forget who. It's not important.
I don't know who. Anyway,
I can't believe Ferris didn't say anything.
He's just over here twitching in his seat. Did you just dab?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense when we get to the game.
So it is a Belgian dark strong. It's from, I'm probably butchering the name, but Chambly, Quebec. Due to its complex character, this beer immediately attracted a lot of fans. Its fruity notes, high alcohol level, often draw comparisons to port. So this should be pretty interesting. It's a 9% beer, top fermented, strong, dark Belgian beer. It's browned with some, the color, brown with some burgundy hues. It's got a rich, lacy Belgium foam head. We'll just let that sink in for a second. It's a slow and sustained effervescence. IBU 15.5. Look out. For a Belgian dark strong, that's going to be kind of hoppy. Medium bodied and medium aftertaste.
We haven't had a Belgian like this in a while.
I don't think
The
we
cool
have.
thing off of their website, talking about the commercial description of the beer, drawing on the Quebec folklore, Unibrew chose the name for Trois Pistoles. I'm sure that I'm killing the pronunciation, to honor the city's historic importance and pay homage to the legend of the Black Horse. Conjured up by a priest to help build a new church, this incarnation of the devil ran off when its birdie was removed. I'm not sure what that means. I'm going to look that up. Because construction was still underway when the horse vanished, a stone remains missing from the church to this day. That's kind of cool.
All I know is you brought some French Quebec beer with the devil.
With the devil and the bird.
With the devil.
And the missing bird. We don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued by the story.
So there's one for you, senor.
That's like icy cold.
I don't know why I'm speaking Spanish with a French beer.
Well, because
I'm incorrectly saying the name.
You're saying trois, which is doing it
Right.
French, and then pistoles, which is Spanish. Like,
I don't know how to say
I guess it would
pistols
be
in
if
pistole.
French. Isn't it with the S? You don't really say it then. Is it trois pistoles? I think. I'm probably messing it. Trois pistoles, but you
Yeah.
don't say the S at the
I
end.
think so.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, ask Siri.
I'm going to ask Siri.
Ask Siri. Meanwhile, Tuck keeps getting all wrapped up in my iPhone cord.
Trois
my-
pistoles.
Trois pistoles.
Trois pistoles. I was close.
Yeah.
3 pistols.
Yeah, well, we knew that.
Trois
thank you.
pistoles.
Trois pistoles.
Trois pistoles.
Guys, we are so close to being Star Trek.
Amazing.
We're so close.
I feel like I've seen this before. I just don't
Oh,
think
yeah,
I've
you
ever,
see it all over.
Yeah. I
But
like
since Orlando City scored 3 awesome goals in the last 10 minutes of our MLS match this week, this was clearly the only choice by name alone.
Well, and you always feel nice and fancy when it's foil wrapped beer.
we pinky up time.
Pinky up, gentlemen.
Ooh, trois pistoles.
How did you say it?
I don't know what accent that was.
Hey, mine's still terrible. So.
That was Monty Python accent. Your mother smells of elderberries. That's what that was.
Every French person is like,
Elderberries
oh,
taste
God.
like elderberries.
Well, we just lost those 2 listeners in Paris.
Hello.
We're cracking bottles open, and my baby's getting very upset that she doesn't have one.
Ooh,
She's like,
that
hey.
aroma.
Yeah?
That's nice.
So allegedly this beer is compared to port a lot. So this is going to be really malty.
It could be really what?
Malty.
Did you just cough me? It's going to be really malty.
Hey, it's still allergy season.
Yeah, you got that right. But
better as of late.
it rained in Central Florida.
Yes, it
Folks, you
did.
don't know how important that is.
An
Yeah.
entire day's
Ooh.
worth, too, which we needed.
We needed that.
And then it rained at night, and
Yeah, dude.
that thunderstorm was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Ron, I have a baby in one arm. You want to do me a solid and
I'm
trade me?
pouring,
You have a baby
I'm
in one
pouring
arm.
yours now.
You rock,
I have
man.
a dog in my lap, and Ron has an
that's-
Irish hockey scarf around his
From
neck.
China.
Irish,
Chinese
Chinese
hockey,
Irish
rugby, soccer.
rugby scarf around his neck.
This has got some nice head retention, if I do say so myself.
It's lacy, rich, and foamy.
I dance under that name. On Tuesdays, Lacey, Rich, and Foamy. Actually, I should have said we all 3 dance under those names on Tuesday.
I feature.
Lacey, Rich, and Foamy. I feel like my kid has no idea what's going on. You're gonna grow up, kid, and go, Dad has weird hobbies. I don't know. These guys go in a room and they chat soccer.
Dad, what does lacy, rich, and foamy mean?
What is that?
Well, here, child. When your dad was a dancer.
That's my drag show name.
I hope. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
I don't know what's going on right now.
I do love the Unibrew like bottles though. They have that cool
Their artwork is always awesome.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't know if any like art nerds would remember this from the 80s, but like the Frank Frazetta, the guy that would draw the crazy like Conan style art.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? It's like stuff you want to see on the side of a van.
I expect when I look at the artwork on this bottle that Vigo the Carpathian is going to pop through.
Yes. Yes, Ghostbusters 2 reference.
All hail Vigo.
Man.
Hello, Vico.
Oh, we could do a whole episode on just Ghostbusters 2. The worst and best sequel ever.
Tell them about the Twinkie, Ray. All right, shall we?
All right, let's do this.
Oh, it smells amazing.
Since we're from Quebec, I'll say salut, gentlemen.
Slanty.
I mean, that smells like that candied dark Belgian.
Ooh.
Oh, woo.
Oh, thickness.
Yeah. That is
That is dark, rich, and foamy.
that's
No, lacy, rich.
A little lacy, rich, and foamy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
this is almost a meal.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet as this warms up, it's
Oh,
going to get sweeter and more flavorful.
Sip slowly. This represents the last of the petty cash. It's 3 Ghostbuster references in less than 3 minutes.
Yes.
My goodness, that smells good.
Ferris, the next time someone asks you if you're a god, you say I'm Zlatan.
There is no Dana, only Zlatan. Oh man, that's another thing we got to do at some point is retell great 80s films, but recast them with all Premier League people.
Yeah. That'd be great.
If you're looking for an exciting soccer match, who you're going to call? No one in the Liverpool greater area this past weekend.
No one.
That was abysmal.
No one.
Just
Everton hosts Liverpool for the most. If you're a fan for the Merseyside Derby, you're excited for that 1 point because you need it as Everton, but
you got it in the most boring way possible.
Well, I heard some complaints. I think it was listening to the Two Robbies podcast that followed these matches, I believe, or might have been on NBC Sports. They were frustrated with Sam Allardyce in this aspect. I think I tend to agree.
Oh yeah, I think it was on NBC.
Liverpool. Yeah, they were prepping for the Champions League game that was coming up, understandably so. So this was a game to try and maybe snag 3 points from.
Because they started
For Everton.
They started Danny Ings and Solanke up front, right?
Yeah.
Salah didn't play in this game, I don't think.
No, but also Everton is sitting on injury upon injury, and
Sure, yeah.
and they have Rooney, who
Well,
And-
what did Sam Allardyce say after the game? He was like, "No one's too big to sit."
yeah,
Like
and
some about
it just wasn't
concerned to that.
their team is has anyone seen Theo Walcott at all, or the former player?
I saw him
he
just
was
as
on
much
fire-
as
fire
when he
for
was
a bit,
Well, I
but
saw him
yeah.
just as much
But
when he was
he
at
hasn't-
Arsenal.
he is-
He was
True.
he is like, oh sweet, this dude's got pace for a second and gone. That's it.
Well,
like,
but with that being said, the front five of Everton consisted of
that's
Theo,
probably accurate. Yeah.
Theo, Yannick Bolasie, who hasn't been in a while but has a lot of pace and power, Tosin, Rooney, and Tom Davies. But they kind of sat back. They didn't go after the game, knowing that what you said is you can get something from the game if Liverpool is looking ahead to try to secure that second leg champion
Well, they went into this game
win there.
at Everton with 40 points, so they were already in the safe zone. I don't know, man.
It's a derby game.
It's a derby game.
You have
it's
a chance
the
to beat
Merseyside
Liverpool,
derby.
which you haven't in several years now.
Yeah.
So go after it the first half, knowing that
You're
a
probably-
Liverpool starting lineup consisted of, like I said, Danny Ings, Dominic Solanke, Sadio Mane, and James Milner, and Georgie Wijnaldum.
And you know what? If you're Sam Allardyce, do it because you ain't gonna be there next year. Have some
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause even if Sam Allardyce wins all the rest of the games, I don't really see him being there for another year.
No, I think it's kind of well known at this point is that he was brought. If you remember at the time, he was brought in just to keep them up.
But now,
That's clearly going to happen.
But you guys bring up a good point though by bringing up Theo Walcott. Here is a chance to be a almost run at Arsenal because there was, at the time you had Sanchez and you got a lot of competition going over there. To shine at Everton. Why isn't he shining? He should be.
Well, when he first came on, he did get some goals, and he played well. And
I'm talking about all the matches since he's put on the
Well,
board. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like he's just been very.
And this is, I mean, I think we have it wrong with Theo in terms of the type of player that he is. He's not somebody that's going to be a Salah or a Sadio Mane who's really going to shine in those type of games. That's what I think everybody thinks he is, and what England thinks he is, and what Arsenal thought he was, and what Everton thinks he is, but he's not. He's a complementary player that can cause a spark at times and add some pace to the game. Well, and that's about it.
Everton still lacking the striker. Remember when Giroud was rumored to go?
Yeah.
They were looking for him. Somebody like that still was kind of what they needed, an honest-to-God like striker.
I would also argue that Walcott hasn't even lived up to your description.
Yeah, I mean, he really hasn't. More so, what you just said, I would say, is what he was doing at Arsenal when he was at his best. I really just haven't seen it at Everton this go-round. But he's surrounded by what he's surrounded by, too. You know? I mean, it's not a...
Yeah, but there was a good lineup out for this. Going back to the point you made earlier, was I think Everton did get a pretty solid striker in Tosin, and he's had some good games for them. But I think it's going to take a while kind of for them to gel, because this is the first time that Bolassi's really been in there with Tom Davies. Morgan Schneiderlin hasn't had the best years kind of protecting them. Seamus Coleman just coming back off an injury. So on paper, they got a pretty good team. I think it's just going to take some time. And I think at this point, they're kind of like, all right, well, let's look ahead to next year. If Sam's not going to be here, we're already on 40 points. We're not going down. So it's the end of the year. Let's think in the summer. Some of them may be thinking, let's think World Cup and get out of this year, and then see who comes in and kind of adds a spark in the coaching realm for next year.
It'd be really difficult if I were the England national team to pick anybody on Everton.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only person you pick is you don't pick Theo. You would pick
but that's
Tom
the other
Davies.
side.
Yeah, you might pick. He's about the only one.
Right.
Theo's got a chance to
Keane
get a spot. There's something he's just not play. Like, you play for that at least. I don't know. You know.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I mean, Keane and Jordan Pickford, I guess, have a chance in there in the England squad. I don't think Pickford will make it. I think Michael Keane will probably get into the England squad. Maybe I don't think Tom Davies is. He probably should. Theo, who knows? I think he's kind of on the cusp right there, because there's a lot of other players that are playing better than him that should be in.
You don't blame
Marcus Rashford in,
And there's also players that are playing a little better than him, but that have heart and pace and passion that you don't see in Walcott very much.
And you don't blame Liverpool in this game at all, because they smartly pulled what they needed to, because the Champions League is what they were gunning for right now.
And I would say it paid off.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they got a point out of it. Do we know where this game was at? Was it at Goodison?
Yes, it was a Goodison.
It was Goodison, yeah. So yeah, you're right. They went away in a derby. They still haven't lost to them, and yeah, I guess you're probably right.
Well, that game was boring. So moving on to a game that turned out
Merseyside
dud.
Not dud.
A game that actually was real fun. I switched over from whatever I was watching. I forget it was on NBC Sports to watch the Bournemouth Palace game, and another Bournemouth come from behind draw,
late goals. Yeah.
Wow.
Man, they are fun to watch, man. I like,
and they were losing out. Crystal Palace looked so good in this.
They're 3 points behind Burnley at this spot, behind Everton at this spot. In terms of a club the size of Bournemouth, sitting at 11th, is a big deal. They started this season rough. They were having a tough time scoring. Now that's not a problem. Yes, they have to tend to come back from behind, but it's exciting. It's fun to watch these guys play.
And there were some fun goals in this game. The free kick by Ilahovic to kind of end the first or
beautiful
early in the second half. Yeah, beautiful free kick. I mean, you couldn't have asked for anything better. A good Zaha goal, a lot of skill and pace and ball handling involved in that. Good Osat goal and a good Josh King goal, and 2-2, and they were playing
I like your headline.
in Bournemouth, and
a king spoils Palace's triumph. I like your headline. That's a good
Josh
one.
King.
That's a good one.
Yep.
That's a good one.
We liked it.
That wasn't even funny. That was just a good
that
one.
was a solid one.
That was made for the Daily News or whatever. No, what's the
Daily
Sun
Mail?
or Daily Mail. That was what I was thinking of.
Daily Mail.
Bournemouth with the lion's share of the possession, mostly in the second half. But they led 21 shots. Yeah.
I think easily could have won this game. I mean, in that respect, like it was a fun match to watch. I think I switched over right before the Musette goal, and they've just had the Cherries have just been a real fun group to watch this year. My secondary club that's fun to cheer on.
Yeah,
as they come from behind.
I love them. And I like my third club this year, Brighton, and then X game.
Actually, both of these clubs are promoted clubs that I like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brighton and Huddersfield 1-1, both a good draw for them. It keeps them. They don't lose all 3 points. They gain a point rather than losing all 3 points. So for both, it's kind of good. Huddersfield could have used a win because I think they're like winless in the last 5 or 6 games. So they could have used one, but it still keeps them, because of other results, 4 points off of the 18th place club at the current time. So just a solid draw.
A proper draw.
That's a good
because
Danny
headline.
Proper got sent off.
Sent off is in a red card in a 72nd?
74th minute. But the goals were all earlier in the game and just some solid goals from Meunier. And if I remember correctly, I think the Meunier one was a mistake by the goalie. He tried to lay it out and then was just kind of in the right place. And
and then
I think it was this game.
29th minute was the Jonas Lassie own goal.
Yeah. So kind of some odd goals, but good draw. And he kind of looked at the game, and both teams really didn't want to lose all 3 points. And
it's cool to see that they're stay. I think they're both going to end up staying up.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, after this weekend, I would probably agree. I think Huddersfield will stay up by their chinny chin chin, but I think they'll stay up.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see the two of them stay up. They both have they're both fun teams to watch, even though they're struggling a bit. Brighton Hove, they're having good times and bad times, like every other Premier League team in the lower section of the bottom of the table or the higher section of the bottom of the table. But they're just fun to watch. And I have a thing for, the teams that are newly promoted. You always want to see them do well.
Right. And it looks at this moment like the newly promoted teams are going to stay up, going into our next game. Newcastle 2.
Yeah.
Leicester City 1. Another big win for Newcastle.
Yeah. And they're playing in fine form right now.
Yeah.
They have really stepped it up in the past 4 or 5 matches. I don't think they've won all 5 of those matches, but
they've gotten points from, I think, all 5.
Right. And that is way better than they had done earlier in the year. So I think Newcastle's coming on strong in a cool part of the year, because I think even though they're going to finish Newcastle, they'll finish solidly in the middle of the table. I think they're at 10th right now on 38 points. But I think the morale boost and that they need going into the end of the season will carry them into a good off season.
You think they keep Rafa?
Yeah, I think they hang on to him.
Yeah, I think they're going to.
I apologize for being silent on the pod for the last 3 minutes. Here's a glimpse into what is life like with a 4.5-month-old. It's not the crap you do for them. It's your brain doesn't work. Because as we were sitting here, I heard my dog yipping, and I thought maybe he wants food. So you guys continue to talk as I go get the dog food. And then I scoop up some dry food to quickly go give him some food and promptly pour all of the contents of the dry food I got straight into his full water bowl.
Attaboy.
But, I have to say that there's not a pet owner on the planet who hasn't done that.
But I was like, got the baby in my arm. Oh, I got this. Run out real quick. Do this. That's where I'll get this. They'll never even notice I'm gone. Sploosh. Oh, son of a. You know?
Whoops.
But yeah, I hope they keep Rafa. I think Newcastle will. I mean, they'll probably end solidly middle table this year. I think they'll be
they're
a tough team to play against next year.
They're 2 points away. They're in 10th right now. They're 2 points away from that almighty 40 mark. And thinking about Newcastle, some of the points they've gotten have been away from home as well. This was a big away win against the Leicester side that in recent weeks have been playing very well. Jamie Vardy's been getting on the score sheet, which he did again. It was late.
Speaking of English team.
Right, and they're in 8th, so it's a solid team. You're not playing a bottom of the table club. I think if Newcastle can get a few signings in the offseason, which they really didn't get going into this year or during the winter period, I think they can really do what they did all throughout the 90s and stay in that mid-table of the Premier League, if not try to vie for those.
Newcastle's back here to stay for a while in the Premier League. I have no doubts of that.
Yeah, I think so.
Seems that way.
They also did that on 33% of the possession against Leicester.
Say that 3 times fast.
I can't.
33% of the way. 33% of the possessions against Leicester.
I want you to say 33% of the possession by Christian Pulisic.
33% of the. Hold on. Well, speaking of which, I did want to correct us from last pod. He is not out for the year because he scored a
yes, he did
mistakenly awesome goal this past week against Stuttgart.
Crazy goal. Yeah.
So we said last week he was a MCL. That was in the initial reports, but no, that is not the case. He was playing and he looked
that goal was crazy.
Good. Yeah, but it was one of those like he tried to do this like out swinging cross or in swinging cross in, I guess, and it just in swinged into the upper 90 float style.
It was awesome. Like the look on his face when it went in was he knew like I'll never do that again on purpose. Like
awesome.
I couldn't do it again if I tried, but that was awesome. Yeah,
good for Christian Pulisic.
With 33% possession, Christian Pulisic.
Good job.
That's just pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
That brings us to
speaking of your before we do them, but I threw it out real quick. But speaking of that goal by Vardy, I am interested to see as we roll into the World Cup how Vardy does in international play in that.
I think he has to start every game.
Oh, I do too. But he's on a good roll right now.
To start every game for England.
Put the two of them up front.
Right. So do you start them as a tandem 2 up top?
You could. You could also play either Vardy or Kane slightly back, so like a striker and then the center forward. One kind of picking up the ball.
Who's your depth?
And striker for them?
Yep.
Theo. As like an auxiliary. Yeah.
It's certainly not Rooney.
No, your depth is 5 Hail Marys and a rosary. That neither of those two get hurt. Right. I would know. I don't know. Give me a.
Which might force.
You know what? It could be. What's the Burnley? Not Vogues. What's the other one? It's had an awesome year. Not Wood because he's Australian. Oh crap!
Hold on.
Give me a second.
English player on Burnley.
I think he's English.
Barnes?
Ashley Barnes.
Or Chris Wood.
Is he English? He's not English, though.
Is he?
Chris Wood's
he's
New Zealand.
He's New Zealand. He's a werewolf, not a sway wolf.
But yeah, there's not really a lot of other English.
Well, for
strikers.
that matter, Ashley Barnes is from Austria.
We were way off.
We're not even close. You could see Rashford play that center.
Oh, there you go.
That center forward position, and I think that's probably
a good depth. That's probably accurate.
Yeah, well, I'm really curious now. Is Ashley Barnes
not as up front? You'll have Raheem Sterling somewhere floating around up
there.
there.
Yeah. So you'll have options. But past those two, will you have really an out and out striker? Rashford's probably your closest one there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail us an English national team conversation, but it's worth noting Vardy has been on a good form lately.
He's been on a really good tear.
Speaking of good form, over in Stoke, they get visited by the Spurs and they get whooped up on 2-1.
Yeah, it was a game for about.
Ashley Barnes is English. Sorry,
He what?
Ashley Barnes is English. Sorry, I just want to confirm from that.
The Premier League website says he's Austrian.
Is
No,
he?
no, that's, you're thinking Wood.
No, he's from New Zealand.
Barnes?
Ashley Barnes.
Oh, my gosh.
On the Premier League website, hold for show.
Unless he's changed citizenship.
I mean,
no,
it's
I could be
possible.
entirely wrong. Let's check our...
Well, we were Star Trek. We're not anymore.
Yeah, from Austria. Forward, Ashley Barnes.
Yeah. No,
Austria.
Look at that. Austria.
That's right.
Way off.
Way off. I you know what I saw? I think it was the league that he plays in. Is
Oh, it had
England.
the flag,
It was-
but yeah.
that would definitely
That would make
Premier
more
Leagues
sense.
in England. That's what we're
Are
talking
you being
about.
serious?
Yeah, I'm done sipping my beer.
Okay.
This 9% is delicious.
That was the 9% talking right there.
But no, Tottenham whoops up on Stoke City. I mean, not that that's a big
It
shock.
was a game for about 8 minutes. And really only because Tottenham scores in the 52nd. Eriksson with a killer goal.
A double in this game.
And then Stoke City answers back inside of 5 minutes in the 57th minute to equalize. And then Eriksson scores again in the 63rd, and it's good night, Mrs. Galabash.
Not that I think anyone was thinking Stoke would win this game, but Stoke in a rough spot because those clubs, they're in 19th place with 27 points, and those clubs in like 17th, 16th, and 15th, just above them by 4 to 5 points. They all had draws this week.
Yep.
And so again, West Brom looks we are got to be getting close to like mathematically impossible for them to not be relegated. Stoke City, looking like we might be a little Stokeless.
Yeah. I mean,
Which is a shame. Are they still our sister, like, or whatever partnership club for
I don't
Orlando
know.
City?
I don't know.
They were.
They were for a season. Our first, I think our first 2 seasons, they were definitely.
Well, because Phil Rollins had the connection there, and I just don't know if that's
Phil
still the
Ron's
case.
not being.
Yeah, he's not around anymore, so I just didn't know if they still did that or not.
I don't know.
But yeah, stuff looking rough for Stoke, because I would argue even after a loss, we'll get to their match. Southampton looking like in a better position to try and get out of that bottom than a team like Stoke at this point.
right.
Yeah, maybe. I think that the Southampton, Stoke, West Brom, I think that's going to be your bottom 3 that stays there and goes
I
down.
think who's got to watch out is of our newly promoted clubs. I think it's Huddersfield's got to watch out.
we were talking about that
winless.
A little bit, but I think they may just hang on.
If you're Southampton, that's who you're aiming at. I think is like Huddersfield.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel-
or Crystal Palace.
Yeah, but I feel like they're. I don't know. They just feel like they've
and with
got
Zaha back, you don't have a feeling that they're going down.
harder road to
Yeah.
hoe. I think.
But really, all you need to do is win and draw a game. Crystal Palace losing both of their last 2,
Yeah.
or their next 2,
I mean,
and Crystal Palace or Southampton's out and Huddersfield's in.
for those top 2 slots of the bottom, there's going to be a very interesting run here to May.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean that's the biggest chase because just the bottom 5. Where are they going to move and go? And
Well, I
who's
think
actually going down? Who's not?
at the top of the table, places for
Gosh,
3 and
we're done. At
3
1
and
through
4
though.
are going to be. It's going to be a good race down to the wire.
Yeah, but I mean, is that really as exciting on who goes down and what's at stake?
No,
the
but
only thing at
it's-
stake in those games is the 4th place team in the Premier League gets that play-in
Right.
Champions League game, which in the past has historically been a weaker team than like a Madrid or anybody. So I don't think it's been a
I
year where they
agree.
haven't gotten in.
I agree, but at the same time, I don't know if I'd rather have Liverpool in 3rd or 4th, or Tottenham in 3rd or 4th.
I
don't know.
have an important question for you, Ron. Would you pass me that Rattler toy?
Yes.
Because she needs it. We keep it real here on the Brewtiful
Yes, we
Game.
do. It's a good sound.
Yeah, it is. So next up, Sean Dice.
Yeah.
At home, Watford, they fall to Burnley 2-1. Man, Burnley, 49 points, sitting comfortably in 7th. Wait, is 49 accurate at this point? Is that right? Were there 49 points from Burnley?
that's accurate.
I thought they were closer to Arsenal at this point, but I mean, man, Burnley, what a season. This club has overperformed so hard for the team they have, the club they are. Like, it's amazing.
Yep.
And they still could get in that 6th place.
Man, if in fact, I mean,
It's still possible.
I'm sure. How do you not give it to like Pep Guardiola? But you talk about Coach of the Year. That
Oh,
would
he has
be
to
my
be right
vote.
up there. Yeah, he has to be right
I
up
mean,
there.
he just phenomenal.
Yep. Burnley do such a great game on 39% of the possession.
That's crazy.
4 shots on target. 4 shots on target, yes. And then 7 shots total.
It's kind of an old school Chelsea stat. You guys, you can hold the ball, we'll score, and sit back and we'll
Right.
close this down.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, they did really well.
what a coach. I mean, he's staying. He seems to be pretty loyal there. If he manages to do this for a second year in a row, it might be harder to keep a hold of him. Because some of the teams above might start looking.
Yeah, but who above is going to take him?
Chelsea or Arsenal? Because right now they're not going to. I mean, right now those are. I mean, not even being funny.
Didn't you know Arsenal's locked in for next year?
Yeah, well, and that means nothing. I mean, like
He's going to get another extension and going to
no, because they're going to friggin' win the Europa League and the Champions League.
Exactly.
You're right.
He's gonna get
That's
another
what's going to happen. It's going to. I don't know. Atletico Madrid looking really good. I don't know if Arsenal could just beat them the way Manchester was kind of favored for the Europa League last year. United. I'm like, yeah, but see, no, it's what's going to happen, and we got him for another year in the Champions League.
Yep.
He's so excited.
He's just going to keep getting
Wenger in.
1 year extension, 1 year extension.
Yep.
Everybody's going to be mad. 1 year extension.
Can we not down that rabbit hole? Let's talk about Sean Dyche some more. Awesome, dude. But in all seriousness, like, why wouldn't you take him? If this dude has
Style
proven
play.
himself very well in the Premier League.
I mean, that would be style of play.
Maybe, but I threw out Chelsea, but I wasn't kidding. Like it does make me think of some of the stats Chelsea had prior with Jose Mourinho when it was.
Yeah.
They would complain it was boring, but I
Well,
mean,
and-
like he didn't have a ton of possession, but that's because they would score quick and then sit back and hold on to the ball.
But one thing that Mourinho had at Chelsea is the name power. The Sean Dyche and
Sure.
the business side of
Sure.
things bring in the names that you
You
want
are
to
also
bring
the
into
gentleman
Chelsea.
sitting across the table from me who sat there and said, "Why wouldn't Arsenal take an Eddie Howe?" And I made that same argument to you that's why they
but
would.
Eddie Howe plays that style of play that Arsenal want to play, and an upcoming England manager playing that style, I think you could.
but
I think you could
you're not
attract some
signing up
some young, creative, attacking players. Where I don't think Sean Dyche is put the nose to the ground, dirt, hard fight, tactical, big bruising style, long balls. You know, like he's not a style that any of the top 6 really want or
you wait. Then
need.
you just wait till next year when Burnley's the top 6.
That's all. It could happen this year still. We may not have to wait.
Oh, that's accurate. That would be actually if Arsenal got into the Champions League by winning Europa League, they got
And then,
booted
yes.
out of the top 6.
No, it wouldn't.
That'd be awesome.
No, it wouldn't be because Burnley wouldn't then not get into the
They wouldn't get into the Europa
League. No, because I think that's what happened this past year. We only had one team, Arsenal, in the Europa League because
right.
United won last year,
Correct.
which then bumped that 6th team out. So we don't want that to happen. What we want is Arsenal to lose and then get 7th. Wenger's out. For you, I'm speaking for you at this point. What was that?
And the ghost.
The ghost just
wasn't the
drops into
Rattler though, right?
What wasn't the Rattler?
Nope.
Good.
Rattler's safe.
Rattler, and not the rattlesnake, but the actual baby rattler.
Right. Yeah.
But rattlesnake's safe too. But that's not what we're talking about.
No.
Jimbo the rattlesnake.
You joke, but Ron saved my wife's life by getting a pygmy rattler out of our pool one day.
That a boy.
Do what I can.
She sent me a picture at work. What is this? I was like, Ron, where are you? Because I'm stuck at work. And this is the picture I just got.
Can you go ahead kill this snake? Roll it then. That was a terrible what's his
Crocodile
name?
hunter, you say?
Crocodile, yeah. Go kill although he wouldn't have killed
Crikey!
No, he'd have just caught it and
played with it for a while.
And
Bit
then
its
really-
head off and
He's not Ozzy
that's,
Osbourne.
That's yeah.
oh, that's true.
Sharon, this snake made me feel funny.
It's like the 60s all over again.
That's our first Ozzy Osbourne reference.
That is our first Ozzy Osbourne.
A lot of firsts in this episode. First Unibrew.
West Brom, Swansea.
There's no better segue from Ozzy Osbourne to West Brom and Swansea.
They both got a point. They both need it, but West Brom's still going to get relegated.
Yeah.
Swansea, maybe not. What else is there to say? For Swansea's disappointing because they need 3 points they could really use 3 points to secure their safety, and they should have gotten it against West Brom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should have. But
I guess.
that was largely a very Cure for Insomnia style match. Even the goals were more or less Or I should
They
say
felt
less than exciting.
Obligatory as opposed to
Well, since
anything
we
else.
have to score, we'll do it in the least exciting way
I think
possible.
the Abraham goal was. I think both are off of set pieces, if I'm not mistaken, off corners or whatever. Yeah.
West Brom scored first and was like, oh, we're sorry. Pardon us. You can have the next one. That's weird. We shouldn't be up right now.
Also, do you have any Grey Poupon?
Dilly, old chap.
Dippy. Oh.
Which people are getting thrown out of. Did you see
The Masters
the
or
Masters for it?
Right.
Oh.
Dilly. That's the
Which
one.
is what's funny is
Baba Booey, you can
Right.
yell that and you stay in, but you don't
You
get
can yell
dilly.
Baba Booey. You can yell hit him with the hind, but you cannot yell dilly dilly.
Is that because like Budweiser isn't a sponsor, or are they?
That could be it. Yeah,
That's probably it.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're sponsored by Heineken or something. And the Heineken's like, nope.
right? You're
I don't
out.
care about Baba Booey, but don't be saying dilly, which are the dumbest commercials, and I can't believe they're a thing.
Well, it's just like the frogs back in the day with them, you know?
But
Like,
there was like artistry and like puppeteering involved. I could appreciate that.
this is artistry. This is
Is it
like a bad what's the role playing medieval style
LARPing?
It's like a bad LARP thing and just cases of beer and some guy going dilly and everybody goes dilly. You're right. It is stupid as hell, but it's wonderful.
My kid disagrees with you. She thinks it's terrible.
Terrible.
I don't blame
There's
her.
an alfalfa thing going on over there. Good for her.
That brings us to.
That's all we had to say about
Yeah, that is all we had to say about West Brom Swansea.
The next match was anything but.
Man, what a match! Manchester City versus Manchester United in the Manchester Derby.
The
You're gonna have
12:30 NBC game, which fun stat here. Fun stat. Saturday's Manchester Derby is the most watched Premier League match in U.S. history with total audience delivery of 1.72 million viewers.
Which has everything to do with the fact that it was Jose Mourinho trying to spoil Manchester's winning of the season in that match.
Well,
It's
yes,
the Manchester Derby.
but also like
A lot of star power
could the crowning happen at home in a derby
against
You know,
their
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that's what it had to do
rivals.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the derby you want to have happen in terms of as a neutral.
If it was
kind of
And it was on a
Man-
good time slot.
If it was Man City versus Swansea City, it wouldn't have been.
Oh,
that exciting.
no. And it was on a good time slot. It was on big NBC. Not a whole lot of anything else on at the time.
And by the way, it was a great match
Oh, man.
in the second half.
Well, no, not even. The first half. Well,
because
Man City
looked great.
wonderful in the first half.
They score their 2 goals. I'm sorry. I'm saying for Man United, it was a terrible first half.
Oh yeah,
Just
but in
terrible.
terms of if somebody just tuning in as somebody just to enjoy a game,
Yeah.
you still Man City played outstanding in the first half and probably should have been up by more than 2 going into that.
It should have been 4-0
4 or 5, yeah.
because there were so many good chances.
A couple of good De Gea saves, some shots over the bar and wide, but
Company with a real slick header.
cue the company goal in a Manchester Derby. That mother gets a goal every damn time.
Classic company.
Every time. God, when they first won a few years ago, he got a goal. He's like the United killer. Like he's a good defender, and I like him, but every time he does it, like, I thought it was going to happen again.
Oh, it was a beautiful goal. It really was. And then 5 minutes later, basically back to back, like bang bang, Gundogan. Him too. He scores a really slick one in the 30th minute that you were like, oh man, if Manchester United does not pick it up, they're just going to get buried.
Yeah.
Especially with how many credible chances City had in the first half.
Yeah, and they were doing this in the first half without De Bruyne, without Aguero, without Gabriel Jesus.
Yep.
You kind of think Pep was maybe saving for the Tuesday clash in the Champions
So
League.
let me ask you though.
But they still had Sterling, Sane, Silva.
So is that
Silva and
was that
Gundogan.
worth it? I mean, Liverpool's up on you 3-0.
First half, yes.
Well, yeah.
City fans, yeah. That's it. It looked certainly that
And
way.
if they could have put in Sane, if he could have put in his goal, which he dragged just wide, that would have been a third. Jesus had a really close one, tipped just over
when
the bar.
he came in, yeah. And
That game was crazy. I was at work and walked by the restaurant that everybody was standing out because it was an outdoor area. They had a bunch of TVs and everybody was just like glued to it. And I managed to walk up the last like 10 minutes of the game. It was so fun.
I had to work, and I was actually at my desk for a little bit of the first half, and I was so mad. Then I went out and about, and happened to go on social media for something. I don't know what, because I'm not real big on social media, but happened to go on for something and saw a United post that said 3-2, and I'm thinking, wait, is this one from like years ago? I had to run down to my desk and back up and see the second half goals, because all of a sudden, in a short period of time, United make this comeback in the second half.
Pogba with a beautiful goal in the 53rd minute. They bring the ball back. They start play. United intercepts, gets another ball to Pogba. Pogba puts it in the back of the net inside of 3 minutes.
It was a wonderful chest down from Herrera, I think.
That was probably
kind of passed it and gave him a through ball.
the best
Chest pass?
of the season. He just
Scotty Pippen could have done any better.
He just directs it nicely. The ball comes in, he takes it in the chest and puts it right between two defenders, right in front of Pogba. And Pogba doesn't miss. So the question I have is...
he was very smart on it. He kept his head up. He saw where the goalie was, and he knew what foot to play the ball with, and it paid off.
And then to round it out, Smalling in the 69th minute with a really, really nice goal to make it 3-2. And then they just had to hold on.
You 20-some minutes of nail-biting, like...
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But a couple players on the United side that stood out in this second half, obviously Pogba with the 2 goals. But Sanchez had a hand in every one of the goals. Yep. He had 2 assists on the second goal for Pogba and the third goal from Smalling. And then he had the ball into Herrera on the first goal. So yes, he didn't get necessarily on the goal scoring sheet, but where I'm going with this is 2 of their biggest signings in the past 2 years, these big names that you want to see come to life and play awesome in these type of games, finally kind of did. This is how Pogba played the first 4 or 5 games of this year. Well, if he did this all year, he'd be player of the season.
That's true.
He's that dominant when he gets that chance to kind of get the more attacking role. And Herrera and Matic in the midfield, which I think I've been saying for a while, should be your midfield pairing, because they can control that midfield and allow Pogba to have kind of that freer role, an attacking role. And that's what Pogba can do. He has class in front of the net. He's big. He's strong. He understands the game so well. This game got me so excited for next year.
I was just going to say, without a doubt, Pep has figured out how he wants his style to integrate into the Premier League. Man City is going to be really good again next year. This, to me, though, shows me what we kind of thought could have happened this year was a mad dash between both Manchesters to the finish line. I think you might get that next year. There's a really good chance of getting that next year.
And if anything, it really shows that Mourinho's got to release Pogba to go play the game Pogba plays.
Yeah, Mourinho just got to avoid that third-year curse. But things do feel... His second year usually wins the title. He didn't get it. So he still wants it.
No, but this...
So this third year, I don't know if he's going to have that third year.
Mourinho was... this is pretty darn good, because he basically stopped City winning it on their watch.
Well, who was the man of the day? You know who it was? It was Jose Mourinho. Why?
I think it was Paulinho Pogba.
No, it was Jose Mourinho, because, my God, it was back to fantastic post-match conversations. We are not as bad as everyone thinks we are.
Which I must say, we've missed.
I am not as bad as everyone thinks. He was awesome, man. His post-match interview was classic Jose. Just so great. Just so great.
Well, and there was a lot of what did Jose go in there and say at halftime to the players? Because they were asking Smalling that in the post-game interview and whatnot. And he basically said, hey, you don't want to be those schmoes that they win this title in front of you. It was different words than that, but similar.
He used the Portuguese word for schmoes.
Yes. And
schmoes.
And that was enough. But has this passion been all year? Where has this? I mean,
I don't know, but that's a really good question.
I'm glad it came now, because City didn't win the title on our watch, which
Manchester United did so much with so little. 35% of the possession, only 4 shots on target, 5 shots total
What did I say about
they lost.
that stat is classic Chelsea under Jose.
Yeah.
There it was right there,
exactly.
right there.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah, I agree. They lost in every single stat with the exception of yellow cards. They only got 3 to City's 6, and they only conceded 9 fouls.
Well, and in fairness, there was a couple of penalty shouts in this game for City that the Ashley Young one I've been back and forth with.
it should have been a red
week.
card. The studs in.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm leaning a penalty and a yellow card. I think would have been fine. Neither of those happened. Play continued. I'm glad it did, but I would have probably gone penalty and a yellow, not a red.
If it was MLS, it would have been a 10-minute break to look at the VAR.
Right.
That would have happened.
Oh, yeah. I'm so disappointed in how that VAR is going. But we'll get to
Again,
that in MLS.
But do yourself a favor, watch some Bundesliga and see it happen. It's
Way
better,
different.
Way better.
Well,
Bundesliga.
hell, it was better in the FA Cup.
Oh, hey, you know what, though?
A little bit.
I know we don't talk Bundesliga a ton, but speaking of this team not getting being crowned champions, Bayern Munich were crowned champions of the Bundesliga this past weekend in their match, which I was flicking between that as well as they dominated and lived. I was wondering if there was going to be a Bundesliga and a Premier League trophy lifted in the same, but it was
that the 5-0 win?
Yeah.
Yeah, they annihilated
Stuttgart? No. Stuttgart was, I think, against Dortmund. No, it wasn't Dortmund.
Yeah.
It was Dortmund played Stuttgart. I forget who it was, but
5-0 was against Dortmund a few weeks back. That's probably what you're thinking.
yes,
of.
yes.
That is what I'm thinking.
Where they
I actually think the club they played to win got up on them 1 goal early, and then Bayern.
Was it Mainz?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But but that was cool to see. See those guys lift the trophy one more time. But it was denied to Man City. Does Man City play at home or away for this next match?
Okay, so Man City cannot win the title this weekend.
Nope.
No, they still can't. They
have to win.
They have
in
to
2
win.
weeks.
Yes, they can't still win it. Right? No, hold on.
Is that because
they have
of the
to win it
math
in 2 weeks?
Of
If
Man
they
U
win
winning?
and United lose, they could win it or no?
No, because they're 3 points. The 3-point difference for Manchester United winning. So United has to lose or draw, and then
City has to win.
they have to win. City has to win, not this week, next week, in order to make that happen.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
It's simple math.
Right. I mean, do you guys? I mean, this is going to be a dumb question. I'm going to get a lot of resounding no's probably. But do you think City can bottle it fully and lose every game down the stretch, and United win every game down the stretch? And
No.
Yes.
mathematically, it's
Tonight,
possible.
when you go to bed and have a wonderful dream, that'll
Yes.
definitely happen.
when Peter Pan's shadow comes to take you to Neverland.
Where's my marbles?
Well done.
Well played.
Bangarang.
Yeah, who is Man City's next match?
Rufio.
Oh,
that is so dangerous.
Hold on. The next match, though. What is Man City's next match this Saturday? The Spurs. They might actually.
Hotspurs.
They could have a stretch. They don't have an easy stretch here. It
No,
could take them a
that's
bit
what I
to.
mean. Mathematically, I mean, who knows? I don't think it's going to happen.
You're
I really
saying-
don't. There's a chance.
There's a chance. God, we like Dumb and Dumber
60% of the time, every
references.
time. We just covered a wide array of stuff right there.
Yeah, we did. You can hear that? That's my kid knowing that we're about to talk about Arsenal.
Yep, just causing a fit. I don't know what you say about this.
It's Gladbach. Bayern
Borussia
Munich.
Mönchengladbach.
Is that how you say it?
I think so, right?
All right. I'll take your word for it.
You saying what you want to say about this for the Arsenal Southampton match? Moving on to that, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this is a very Arsenal late season, already out of it. They've already failed expectations win.
No, but hold on though. I actually think this is pretty good because they held back a little bit because of the Europa League match that was coming up on today,
Which they almost bottled.
and Southampton actually had a good. Southampton right now in the bottom 3 to me has definitely the best chance of getting out of the bottom.
Do you
3.
know why?
Charlie Adams?
Austin.
Sorry, not Charlie Adams.
Exactly.
Who's Charlie Adams? That's somebody
Stoke
famous.
City.
Stoke City.
Old
okay,
dude, yeah.
Charlie
Oh, yeah.
Austin. Thank you.
Yeah. Charlie Austin is back from injury, which they've missed since January. And before that, Southampton were doing.
That could be.
He was putting in goals left and right, and
that could be the 1 to 2 point difference.
yes,
that
I
changed
agree.
It, yeah.
He could be that because he's a really fine center forward up front, and he did get a goal in this that put it 2-2. Arsenal just a little too much class on the field. Got that third goal, Danny Welbeck double. But yeah, no, Blake, I agree. I think that they do have the best chance out of those bottom three teams to stay up because of Charlie Austin.
Yep, I don't. This wasn't a match that bothered me as much for Arsenal having to fight back against a team like Southampton to win, especially because of Welbeck getting a brace. That's huge. I mean, Danny Welbeck has dealt with so many injuries along the way. Is he a good player? Well, I don't think that was a question. Was a good player, but is he a guy that can like stay on a club and stay healthy and stuff? And it was great to see Danny have a good game, and that's huge.
Was he injured this year?
No, not
Yes.
this year. Well, he
For some of the year.
some of the year, but not like the previous years where it would be like 2 games in and done for the season and that kind.
And he also scored the game.
Been largely underwhelming most of the season, though.
Yeah, but I think he's got a whole lot of playing time, especially
between
since Lacazette and Aubameyang. Yeah,
he doesn't play
but he
a
did
lot.
get to the crucial goal today, right? In the
in the Europa League, yes.
Europa League to tie it, because they were like kind of on the brink there, where if
They tied Moscow.
CSKA could have gotten one more, they would have been knocked out, and Danny got that goal late to kind of salvage them and save them. So
that moves
a good week for Mr.
Arsenal
Danny.
to the semifinals of the Europa League, right? That's where we're at right this
Indeed,
point.
it does.
Yeah, so yeah, Danny Welbeck having a really good run of form, and you know what? They need it. And Aubameyang, 6 goals in the last 5 games, 7, or is it like?
What was the stat that he scored in his first 5 games for Arsenal, and no other Arsenal player has ever done that. Something like that.
Turns out they probably should have done that extra money in the beginning of the season and signed him. He's definitely build the team around him next going forward. They also
Start in defense.
Yeah, they also locked down Ozil, right? They got him under contract now.
Oh yeah, that was in January, I thought.
But in my head, I thought that was a more of a question mark thing than it was.
Are you keeping Petr Cech next season? Or I shouldn't say are you. I mean, your
will he
preference.
retire?
Do you?
Oh, would I think
He had a
keep-
phenomenal game today in the Europa
He
League.
did have a good game in the Europa
but
League.
he's had some not so good games this year.
He's
not
made a
very
lot
Peter
of
Cech-ish.
Very true. He's made a lot of odd mistakes throughout
Well,
this
maybe
season.
it's time to find your goalkeeper, and if you can keep Petr Cech, he's your Champions or Europa League, depending on where they land, guy. You know what I mean? He's your tournament guy, as opposed to Ospina, who Ospina, whenever he goes to play for his national team, is always so good. But
Who does he play for?
maybe that would be my answer. I would want to keep Petr Cech, wealth of knowledge, but you got a good goalkeeper, and maybe he's your tournament guy.
Today,
You know.
I'll tell you, today he looked like he was 29.
Oh, he was wearing a Chelsea jersey. Yeah.
He was flying, dive parrying balls one-handed. He was good today. He only gave up 1 rebound today that he was at full stretch, makes the parry, gives up the rebound, and then they put it over him at a very hard angle. He still made him work for it, but he had to give up that rebound. There was no way he was keeping it in.
Speaking of a goalkeeper having a good game, we can move to Chelsea West Ham.
Oh, Jesus.
Joe Hart.
Very good game in this. Yeah,
Man,
Some really
he
good
did.
save.
You guys had that game not for awesome tunnel talking Joe
God.
Hart.
Joe Hart and Arsene Wenger next year on the same team.
I'm not gonna lie, I could see them doing
That would
that.
be
I
a
could
hot mess.
that wouldn't be a shock to me.
Well, no, I don't think anything would be a shock for Arsenal fans right now.
But Chelsea West Ham, Chelsea owns this game if not for Joe Hart. He's great.
Do we have an attacking bunch of players? Because
You do. He's just on loan at Dortmund right now.
yeah, that's true.
Azpilicueta, our defense scores.
Well, Hazard was too busy
corner,
driving
too,
around
yeah.
Orlando. You saw him in his Hazard mobile.
Yeah,
We gotta really blur out
the
the
tag,
license
yeah.
plate and share that photo.
Yeah.
Ron saw. Was it like a blue Hyundai or what was it?
It was
a
blue
Veloster.
yeah.
And it had like across the back a custom 10 Hazard
Yeah,
across.
so the car was all blue. It had a big white stripe across both sides, and that connected to Hazard 10 on the back bumper.
It was
awesome.
I mean,
It was really well done.
and Florida plates.
Yeah.
So that
So-
just made me happy. That's cool.
I saw that on the drive to work, and I was like, all right. My day officially made.
And the other side for West Ham is Chicharito doing what he does best, which is goal poacher, and netting that important goal. So what? But what's going on with West Ham? How do you think that falls out? Because the fans aren't happy. They should be higher in the table than they are. They feel like the move they're not entirely pleased with.
I don't know. I think they stay up, and I think ownership is still going to stay. I don't think that's going to change. Moyes is going to stay. And I think they try to bring in some more signings in the offseason. I don't think Chicharito will be there, who got the game-winning goal in this. And I don't think Joe Hart will be there again. So you make some changes.
You said you think Moyes stays?
Yeah.
No.
What danger is he in right now? He kind of came in and saved them from going down too.
But you don't want the guy
he's not what the fans are
at this point in April. You don't want the guy who has barely got you 6 points above relegation.
No, it's not. It's not his fault. He's done everything he can because West Ham was in the bottom three for a good portion of the beginning half of the year. I don't think it's his fault at all. And he's gotten some play out of Arnautovic and Chicharito, and the defense has kind of shored up a little bit there in the back. So I don't think he's not the one that the fans are yelling at. They're yelling at Saxon Gold, who are up there in the box and saying, get out. But I don't think that's going to change. So I think it's going to be a little bit of the same next year. And they start off going bad, then you're going to get more
if they
protest and everything else.
Heard it here first. If Moyes stays, he's canned within the first quarter of the season next year.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
I also think the people to watch out for next year are Arnautovic if he stays. He's the one to watch. Also, Declan Rice. Keep an eye on him.
Good name, Declan.
Keep an eye on him. He'll be with the squad next season. But I think he'll be one to watch.
Very young talent. Yeah. He played. He have a good game in this game, or was it the last game they had against Southampton?
Last
I just read your title or your headline for this. Chicho Golarito. That's like a weird Dorito flavor.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking it's from Taco Bell.
Yeah, Chicho Golarito. Yo quiero Taco
Number
Bell.
one, please.
Yeah.
I'll have the Chicho Golarito special, please.
With the Blue
beans and
Wave
rice.
Mountain Dew.
And a side of guac.
Yeah.
I love how Mountain Dew threw themselves so hard to Taco Bell. Are you ready to destroy your stomach? Why stop there?
Exactly.
Here are 5 different versions of Mountain Dew to sugar and destroy your belly up in 20 different ways.
And to give you diabetes.
Yeah.
Your all-night D&D fest.
Or Xbox Fest or, that's totally it. Yeah.
Or what's the new one now that's a real big Fortnite?
No idea.
Fortnite.
For new Fortnite that like all the NBA
All that
players
really
are playing
matters, and I'm so late to this game because it's been out for like 2 years, is Rocket League. The soccer game where you have
the cars?
rocket-powered cars playing soccer against each other.
What?
Yeah,
It's
dude,
brilliant.
you need to get that. It's so
brilliant.
fun.
What?
Xbox.
Yeah.
Get it. The
serious,
3 of us
man?
can play together on a team.
Okay.
It's so fun. It's ridiculous. It's hard to do tactics because
Like is it a game? Like is it a game that's on the system or one you have to buy in the store?
You download it. You
Okay.
can buy it in the store, but I think you just download it. It's like $19 or something. It's
Right.
a cheap game, but like you literally play on teams of like 1 to 2 to 3. And it's like this big arena where your car is a rocket and it can drive and bounce all over the place. And the ball is like twice the size of a car and you hit it and it bounces and it's crazy. You don't have a goalie really.
It's incredible.
It's insane. It's
Did
so
not
fun.
Top Gear do that? Not with rockets,
Yes.
but a Top Gear
Yes.
kind of did that
Yes.
a while ago. Yeah.
The difference is you're in an enclosed stadium and you can drive on the walls and see.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And the ball is
Huge.
is like just friggin' ginormous. And you can do all these like jumping shots and
I've
it's so much
never
fun.
I'm not
this
good
game
at
before.
those, but what I've gotten good at is when the whistle blows of heading toward the ball and hitting it just right to try and get it over the front line into the net off the.
So you're still on the easy mode because
I'm not good enough to move
in
up.
the medium mode, you cannot do that.
But I've done it a few times playing against people online, so I think I'm getting good at it because playing against people online is always hard. But it's fun.
What's it called?
Rocket League.
And the matches are 6 minutes long.
And just as a bonus,
That's cool.
it costs money, but there's some down. You unlock all these cool cars.
I have
For
the
like a buck or
DeLorean.
two, you can totally buy the DeLorean or the Batmobile.
I have the DeLorean.
Hey, Moscow!
It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
You'll really like it.
Sweet.
Well, that is the Premier League.
Just a quick correction. It was FC Augsburg. Augsburg. I'm not good at pronouncing German names. Augsburg that Bayern Munich won against 4-1.
4-1, because they scored the first goal, the FC Augsburg, right?
Oh,
That's what I saw was, Bayern might not get the championship day. And then I flicked back, I was like, they're up 3-1 now. I think it's going to be a safe bet. Yeah.
Yep.
But you know what? The German league's fun to watch. I don't know if any of your sisters watch the Bundesliga.
It is. It's really
I
fun.
don't watch it a ton. I'm much more into the Premier League, but they score a lot. The downside is if you think that there's a problem with top clubs.
Fox coverage is good.
The Fox coverage is. But if you think there's a problem with the top clubs being the same top clubs in the Premier League, woof. Bundesliga
There's a huge difference.
And you know, that's, I mean, it's literally just like, I mean, you're like, Bayern won again, man. Bayern won again. It's, you know, it's not a shock.
Nope.
Doesn't mean they're not good and fun to watch, though. Holy crap, man.
Yeah, I agree. Do we chat about Champions League
Yeah,
real
let's
quick?
hit on that a little bit,
real
because
quick.
there were some very
We
interesting
already
games.
talked about the Europa League. We got that out of the way, but Arsenal beating Moscow today, moving on to the semifinals. Do we know who they're playing?
Who?
We already talked about Europa League a
That
little
draw
bit.
hasn't been done yet. I think that draw
Okay.
happens tomorrow morning. Or
Okay. So we'll know that
tomorrow
is-
morning for us and night for them. The highly anticipated Manchester City-Liverpool game. Manchester City did not come back. They did get the early goal in the first half after 2 minutes, so for a hot second there. But then the man, the myth, Salah came on second half, or was playing and
Let
scored
me
second
ask
half.
you something.
And Liverpool are
me
moving
ask
on to
you
the
a question.
semifinals and the
Moving
Champions
to the
League.
semifinals. Let me ask you something.
5-1
Is-
on aggregate, by the way. 5-1. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Is Liverpool, is the way the Klopp is doing this, not built to win the Premier League this year, obviously,
That's what you said, yeah.
but are they built to win this Champions League?
Possibly, possibly.
He is playing the Champions League with like complete abandon, like just like going for it. And you're playing against clubs, well, Man City doesn't fall into this category, they don't play you all the time.
Possibly.
The little one does not like Liverpool winning.
Nope, not at all. God, I knew I loved her. And maybe, I mean, they very well may be up for it. I think the test is going to be next round. If they get Real Madrid or Bayern, hint, both the host teams went through, that's kind of a big test for them. The other team that we're going to talk about here,
Who do they want to draw?
I think you want to draw the next team, which is
Bayern?
I think the fans would want that. You want to see Klopp go against
that's the man that could beat Bayern is Klopp, is what I'm saying. Like the guy that
Right.
like
Yeah,
that,
right.
like
I mean, the fan ways. I think Liverpool fans will want Roma.
they don't want the Roma that played against Barcelona and beat them 3-0.
No, they do not.
I remember seeing that
man.
before that match started, the stat, Roma will have to win 3-0 to move on. And that is exactly what they did.
So-
Yeah.
Which is crazy
Which
because
is
Barca
brilliant.
has been on great
Yeah.
form. Like Messi has been showing that it's like him and Ronaldo got another, like, we're going to see who's the best again now. Decide, like, and they have just been,
They had to exactly win
3-0
exactly. And they did.
or
so,
4-0, 5-0, whatever. But
So it became 4-4 on aggregate, but then Roma advances on away goals.
on the one away goal they scored 2 weeks ago against Barca, who scored 4, their one away goal was the decider in this.
which remember for like 2 or 3 years where Roma kept coming down and playing Orlando City when they were minor league?
Yeah.
You remember that? Like,
Yeah.
which is
They
really
usually do the tour here in the
just
States.
goes to show you how important scoring even one in the face of a loss is.
yeah.
How important that really is, scoring those away goals.
It would, but good for Roma. I mean, just wow. So it's
Crazy.
Who did you say is left?
You would not have guessed that Barca would have squandered a 4-1 first leg lead and not scored a single goal and been knocked out of the
No,
Champions
you would
League.
never.
And lost
with
the
Lionel
stat
in the
battle.
team, with Messi in the team.
They lost the stat battle huge.
Yeah, you just wouldn't have guessed that at all. But wow, that is insane.
With the exception of possession, they Barcelona lost all the rest of the stats, which
Yeah.
is just crazy.
And there was something similar-esque in the next day's games. Not with the Bayern Munich and Sevilla game. Bayern were up 2-1 going into this leg, and it was 0-0. So nothing really to speak about that game. Munich go on. But the Juventus Madrid game,
Yeah, that was fun.
I was getting alerts at work. Juventus score 1. Juventus score 2. Juventus score 3, and all of a sudden, it is looking like it's going to go to extra time because Madrid beat Juventus 3-0. So right now we're tied on aggregate on away goals, right? Because when Madrid played Juventus in the Bernabeu, or not Bernabeu, Juventus, I don't remember what the Juventus stadium is, and they won 3-0. In the Bernabeu, Juventus was up 3-0, so they both have 3 away goals, and they're now tied.
And then CR7.
In the 90th +7 on a very, very soft, if not really a lot of contact penalty and call. You gotta let them play at the end like this, and it was a weak penalty call, but Ronaldo stepped up and buried it, and
And then takes his shirt off and gets carded.
Good for him. If I had a body like that, my shirt would be off.
He was jealous that Zlatan got
I would
that
take
one
a corner kick, and the ball would go out of bounds. I'd take my shirt off if I looked like him. But and kind of a sad thing in this, Gigi Buffon in the 90 +3 got sent off after the penalty call. Passionate, probably his last Champions League games because he's retiring at the end of the year. Have a chance to advance, and a call like this is going to knock them out after they had this huge potential comeback and going to extra time. And you can't fault Gigi for his passion and just getting in the ref's face because if you go back and watch it, it wasn't a penalty. It was a weak call.
So where are we at, Nessa? We're at Liverpool, Real Madrid, Bayern, and Roma.
Yep.
I
think the draw happens tomorrow as well too.
What a great great line.
Yeah.
With Liverpool and Roma being the kind of fun, maybe unexpected ones rolling in here.
So you you have a team from the top 4 proverbial leagues.
Yep.
Germany, Spain, England, Italy. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the powerhouses in all of them. Because that'd be what? That'd be the City, Barca, Munich would still be there, and then
That's a tough,
Juventus.
That's a tough draw. I almost hope that, in a way, I almost hope Roma and Liverpool, the ones get drawn together, so one of them gets through would be fun to the front, As a neutral.
I'd like to
Speaking as
save a
neutral.
Munich Real Madrid final. I think that would be a good final to see. So
I would like to see Munich line up against Liverpool. To see Klopp, it would be so fun.
I agree.
And
then
again,
to see Roma against Madrid to see if they can knock off another Spanish.
And what'll be fun
Yeah.
about a Bayern Liverpool match? Klopp's not going to hold back. They're in the top 4. Chelsea's, I think, already got enough of a gap at that. I don't think they're worried about that.
No.
You go, man. You just put the foot down and the
send Salah,
you
Mane,
go
and just let him go.
And could you imagine if he topped that? Man, like
That would
the
be so
Champions League, I'm so excited for. Well, and because obviously we're big Premier League fans, we tend to follow them more. It's just nice to have an English club, even if it's not your club. Further along at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't bbelieve it wasn't Man City though. I really thought that would be the first English club in a while to push on.
So that leads to we'll go around and pick this here. But who's in the final and who wins? Blake, you're first.
Do we need the draw first? I think we need
No,
it's hard to
I think
say.
you can do it. I mean, I'm going to go Madrid for a 3rd time in a row, and nobody's ever done that before. I just think something about what Ronaldo is doing right now just... I think it's going to be Madrid.
Blake?
It will be Madrid in the final, but they will lose. So the battle of the greatest ever between Ronaldo and Messi can continue.
Why? No, because Ronaldo's like 20 goals up on him in the Champions League right now.
I'm just saying, like,
But
you
what about
didn't
lifetime?
win.
What?
What about lifetime goals?
I don't think.
I don't know the answer to that.
But I'm just saying, like, it'll keep.
Messi scored his
it'll keep
600th
that
like
argument
4 months ago.
It'll keep that argument going. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But you didn't win. But you get Real Madrid to the final. Man, I say this so that if he's listening, he'll invite me to hang out and have a beer with him. I want Jurgen Klopp. I want Klopp, man. I want to call Blake. I heard what you said on the episode. Come drink with me. We're gonna hang out.
Talk about my dream. Yeah, no,
That's what happened. I'd be like, cool, let's do this. And then you die of alcohol poisoning hanging out with Klopp. Because I just imagine he would just open German boots down his throat, and you'd be like, I can't compete with this at all. And he'd be fine.
Can I have a German sneaker?
Like,
Going
I'll
back
take
to the
I'll take
trainer.
I'll take a German loafer.
going back to the all-time.
Did Ron say?
I was before Ron went. The question that he just asked me about the all-time goal scoring.
Who's called the
club
goal
and
more
country all-time goals? Ronaldo's up 651 to Messi's 607. Ronaldo does have about 150 more appearances.
Okay.
So either way,
So really, what we should do is average that out, and then that would really tell you.
In the league, Ronaldo still has it. Europe and other cups, he's up 21 on him currently. So yeah, I mean, Ronaldo does have it. By the time Messi's done, who knows? They may be almost dead even, or
Right.
you know. So go ahead, Ron. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I want to go with Liverpool. It's a better story.
It's a fun story. That's the thing. It's a good
Bunch
story.
of scouse ass.
I mean, and you know what? Roma would make me happy too.
No, I mean, I honestly, the way that Liverpool are playing and Salah, it would be a very good story for not only English football, but for Egypt, for
and you just said
attacking
it.
style that they play.
It'll be about Salah.
It would be.
It'll be about
Salah and Klopp.
yeah. But that would be awesome.
Klopp hasn't won a Champions League yet.
It'll be an incredible story, and I want to see what Klopp is like winning the Champions League.
Want to see those hugs?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? With some glasses, he's going to have like a back. You see glasses flying off constantly. He's going to be like a guy running glasses to him as they fly off his face. And after with his big teeth.
I was like, good laugh.
That's the Klopp laugh though. When they interview him, and the teeth just open, and his mouth doesn't move. It just stays
just
open.
like,
it just slightly, yeah. It's like a really fun drunk, like the Count from Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Should we get through real quickly some MLS?
Let's burn through our MLS a little bit. First matchup was the most anticipated, I think, that I'd really been wanting to see between Atlanta United at home against LAFC, because we had said is LAFC the new Atlanta United, because they have just been scoring a ton of goals, but they've now recently had a ton of goals scored against them between their El Tráfico derby against the LA Galaxy and now losing 5-0 against Atlanta
The
United.
last 10 minutes of this match was insane.
So let me ask you, is Atlanta this good, or is LA...
Atlanta's this good at home.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Away from home, not so much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How MLS is that? That's so MLS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this game was weird. There were 5 goals, which is exciting, but only for one team.
And a beautiful home they have, too. Jeez.
2 penalties and some VAR type stuff. Like there was an early VAR shot that was sending off an Atlanta player in like the second or third.
Guys, I'm just not sure about this thing yet.
And then they went back, and rightly so, it wasn't a card, so he came back on, and then Atlanta kind of just tore through him, and the LAFC red card didn't happen until very late in the game, so that didn't necessarily have any impact on playing with a man down or anything, but
I'm just not...
kind of an odd game.
I'm just...
But good for
this VAR thing is bugging me, because it is not... It is just... And you know what? Remember a year ago, I was the guy arguing for it, said if you do it this way so you don't disrupt the play, like, let's do it. Let's get accurate calls. But I just feel like the way the pro refs are doing it right now, it is not...
So one thing that they made...
They are not erring on the side of moving the game
This did
along.
get the right call, though.
Sorry.
And the game we're going to talk about next, or a few but got the call right as well.
Correct.
So,
Almost every one of them ended in the right call, but God, it's disrupting the game. Sorry, Ron. What were you gonna say?
No worries. So the VAR thing, I've been doing a bunch of research on the VAR because, as I've said on a few pods, I hate that you as a fan being at the stadium, once the VAR happens, you don't always know what happened or what the call is.
I love that you guys were at the game. I couldn't make it, and you're texting me asking me what the replay is.
Yeah. Right, and
That's
we're at the
ridiculous
game.
because I'm watching on TV. Yeah.
So one of the things that's different than the way the MLS set it up is that the VAR ref, if you will, is supposed to tell the signal, the head referee, to say you should look at that, and that's it. There's not supposed to be discussion between the so he makes the call, like in the Orlando City one. He makes the call, And then there's a good 4-minute span while all the referees talk after the call has been made. Then they decide to signal the VAR. It's supposed to be they make the call. Someone says, you should check the VAR, and they go right to the VAR. Not, hey, did you get it right? Did your Aunt Sally pick up, milk at the grocery store?
Yeah.
It's supposed
no discussion
to,
of like, hey, I don't know if you saw this. No, just go see the VAR.
Right.
Just go
you should look at it on VAR. And they're supposed to automatically review it in those 4 cases. So there's not even really the need for a discussion in red cards, in mistaken play, in penalty kicks, and mistaken identity.
Do you know off the top of your head, in the NFL, the ones that are required, like goal scoring, turnover?
All scoring.
Is that called by the head ref?
No, I think all
booth?
scoring is automatically reviewed.
I wish that's what would just happen. The VAR booth guy would just be like, I'm looking at it, it's wrong. Like the way that a sideline ref can wave down the ref and say that I saw it, so it was a penalty, and do you know what I mean? Like,
it is what you're saying, because I think in the NFL, somebody can make that change of call in New York, where in this it still comes down to the head ref making the call.
Whatever this,
the truck or wherever just tells them, hey, you should have a look, but it still comes down to the head ref.
Whatever the minutia is, here's my answer: I don't give a crap as long as the game keeps moving, and that's what's bothering me right now. Sorry to disrupt your order of games, but to move to the Orlando City and Portland Timbers because the VR played it into this. This got confusing because it was a correct call, but it was a weird situation the way the rules are written, which is that they gave him a yellow for
a second yellow.
No, a second yellow for
they gave him a yellow for diving earlier in the game,
right? And they gave him a yellow for what's the word when you make it bigger than it, embellishment. Here's the problem: it could not. The call should have been penalty then VAR. It could not have been less I'm the Orlando fan that doesn't want this goal or doesn't want that foul to be called, but it is clearly not embellishment. That was my problem with the call. But there was a confusion. If you were watching at home, commentators were like, I'm confused because you can't review second yellows, but you can review a penalty. So in this situation, they were confused. They didn't know if the VAR guy.
I think that was a lot of Taylor Twellman kind of put that out there early.
No, he did, but it was
in
accurate.
The stadium. I didn't think it was because of the card. I thought it was.
You'd be wrong. Hold on, because this is the rules. They brought someone. That's what I'm saying. They were talking about it, saying, as the rules state, you cannot. And this is maybe a problem too. They even said a second yellow results in a red. You should be able to VAR that. You cannot VAR a second yellow. So when they wanted to VAR it, they were like, I'm looking at the rules, and they read it. They said so. They were confused, saying, but you can check to see if it's a penalty. But what they were confused were by in the NFL, if there's a call that can't be reviewed and you call that first, you can't still review it and say, oh, we're reviewing it because it revealed a different thing. If you already said
Right.
There's some ones you can't review.
Right. You can't look at a pass interference review in the last 2 minutes and then call a face mask.
Right.
And so that's where they were confused as the rules are written. Like you
can review a red, but a straight red.
A straight red. You can't review a second yellow. You can review a potential penalty, but since he had called a second yellow saying embellishment, they were like, how? It was clear that people, and maybe the refs are more clear, but it hasn't been relayed to us, pundits, people, haven't had that explained to them of, can the VAR guy go, because this is where the confusion lies. Can the VAR guy said, you made a call for a second yellow. I'm not sure that's embellishment, but you can't review a second yellow. Wow. But the VAR guy can say, look at it again because it was a penalty.
Because it wasn't because if it wasn't embellishment, it's a foul, which results in a penalty.
I am not playing spoiled sport or anything like that. It was a penalty and should have been given.
We saw it from where we were sitting.
It was terrible.
I turned around and went, that's a penalty.
Embellishment was a terrible call by the ref. It's just as the rules are written, this is where this VAR still has problems.
So the exact, and I quote, for red card incidents, the role of VAR is to ensure that no clearly wrong decision is made in conjunction with sending off a player or not sending off a player.
That's straight red, though. Not second yellow.
Sending off a player.
look up second yellow VAR. That because they had the rule book and they were reading it that you can't review. You could review a red sending off, but that a second yellow. This is going to sound silly. It wasn't considered a sending off because you're not saying you did something so bad I'm sending you right now. You're saying I'm giving another yellow. Sorry, you already had another yellow because that makes you leave.
That's what I'm trying to say is that it is a loophole in the issue because it's the red card incident states in conjunction with sending off or not sending off a player. So whether that's but that's in conjunction with a penalty decision.
Right.
So it's really the penalty decision that they're talking about, not necessarily the second yellow into the red. But it just happens to result in that. Does that make sense?
No, yes. But the problem being that the second yellow rule earlier that was listed, this is where the confusion lies, and no one understood what can the VAR guy say or do? Because if that rule is here, well, then the thing you just said.
So
I think he probably said, hey, you should look at that again because it's a penalty shout. And that's it. I think he probably said, you should look at that again. He goes over, sees, okay, that's actually not a dive. So that's a penalty.
The way it's written out, how does a video assistant
what I'm looking at right now.
referee work? So step one, an incident occurs. The referee informs the VAR or the VAR recommends to the referee that the decision/incident should be reviewed.
Right.
That should be the end of the discussion. We should just go to the VAR after that. Step 2, review and advice by the VAR. The video footage is reviewed by the VAR, who advises the referee via headset what the video shows. That should also, and that has not taken a whole lot of time. Step 3, decision or the action is taken. The referee decides to review the video footage on the sideline of the field of play before taking the appropriate action / making a decision. Or the referee accepts the information from the VAR and takes the appropriate action and makes the correct decision. That's how it's supposed to work. The 10-minute monologues that each of them get to try and talk about whether or not the VAR is applicable and all that, though that shouldn't be happening.
But this is where the confusion lied in the booth. This is what I was looking for. What are some referee decisions during a match? This is from DC United's web page. What are some referee decisions during a match that are not reviewable by officials? Following are examples, referee decisions that are not reviewable. Throw-in decisions, including placement execution, goal kick decisions, corner kick decisions, foul decisions, offsides decisions, unless an offside decision impacts goals, penalty kicks, or red cards. So, see, that's already confusing.
Right.
Yellow card decisions, including second yellow cards resulting in a red.
Unless it's going to be a penalty.
Unless the awarding the yellow was a clear and obvious error.
Which it was.
Example, the yellow card should have been a red card, or there was a case of mistaken identity. But then you can review second yellow. That's that doesn't make sense.
Plus, if your second yellow is in the box, you're going to have a penalty, and it's going to be a second yellow red card.
I'm going to read that again. Yellow card decisions. Okay, fair enough. The first ones so you can't review those, including second yellow cards, parentheses, unless awarding the yellow was a clear and obvious error, which this one was. But example, the yellow card should have been a red card, or there was a case of mistaken identity. So what you're telling me is
there wasn't the case.
You can review
you can review a second yellow into a red card,
but only if it's a yellow card has been if the yellow card should have been a red card, or you can review a yellow card saying you should look at this because I think it should have been a straight red, or there was a case of mistaken identity. These things aren't listed in what actually occurred, except for unless there was an obvious error. But what makes me crazy is that's the point of VAR. Obvious error. So why put the rule in? You can't review a yellow card if you include it in one of the outliers unless there's an obvious error. Well, that's what the hell VAR is
Right,
for.
right. That's
Like,
the
I
whole
mean,
point.
like, yeah, because to be honest, VAR and bad replay in the NFL isn't the minutia of the itty bitty because actually it's supposed to be incontrovertible evidence, right?
Right.
That sentence I just read makes no sense.
It's like
that just means it is reviewable.
That's like goal line technology is not usable unless there is a shout of that was a goal or
So if these are the rules that the referees are dealing with and they've agreed upon between MLS and everybody else, and no wonder there's a 20-minute conversation every time. Do you know what I'm saying?
They got to get a handle on
because it's a mess. Like, that's a mess. That doesn't make any sense. In other words, screw everything you just said about yellow cards.
Well, it's a
you
mess.
can just review them.
It's a mess, but in the end, it was the right call.
No, in this case, sure.
Well, and the case we said earlier in the Atlanta game, it was the right call. It's a mess getting there.
Yeah.
Right.
And let me tell you, one of the things I love about soccer and going there live, and it's the fans who don't like VAR, is flow of game. That's those billboards that are like, for 90 minutes, you won't breathe. This takes a little bit. Maybe I should put this with VAR in the Premier League might not bother me. VAR in the MLS where refereeing is okay is rough because it happens a lot more.
Just get goal line. That's all that we need.
It happens more. You know, if we had a better, and I'm not, it's the situation. The league doesn't make as much money as a Premier League, and therefore referees don't make as much. You don't get as good a people. I get it, whatever. Like, but it would probably bother me less. And that's why Bundesliga doesn't bother us because the bad calls are far and few between.
The English have no refs going to the World Cup this summer. We do. Or CONCACAF does.
Yeah.
We have two.
Anyway, sorry to derail on a VAR thing, but it was just like that between what Ron read and I just read, what? This is just like simplify this situation.
So long story short, that resulted in a penalty for Portland.
Long story long.
Which was correct and buried by Diego Valeri. They went up 2-0 early in the second half. Some good substitutions from Orlando City, though.
Same old story. A team scores early and quick against Orlando at home.
Did we miss the Chicago Fire?
Talking to VAR.
Yeah.
We skipped it because of the VAR. We'll go back to that.
Some good substitutions. Chris Mueller came on.
Impact
Stefan Pino and RJ Allen. RJ Allen assisted for the first Mueller goal, which made it 2-1. Mueller's first ever goal for the club.
I would actually say Mueller and Pino coming in were big.
Yeah, but RJ Allen had the assist on this first goal as well. So those are three good substitutions.
I think you keep Mueller coming on. He's
an impact player.
His energy coming right onto the field.
Well, don't forget when we were missing Dwyer desperately in those first few games, Mueller, we were like, who's this kid?
Right.
Actually, he looks pretty good in those first few games starting.
Speaking of Dwyer,
and he had an epic knee slide that everybody's been making fun of. Yeah.
Speaking of Dwyer got fell lightly to the ground, I would say, and got a penalty for our second goal, which Sasha Kleiston buried. But why wasn't that VAR'd?
See, this is what's confusing. So
Right, exactly.
All the crap we just said and how a ref could have mistakenly said, I can't review that because it's a second. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have screwed that up based on everything.
And if you watch it, it was in the smoke.
So
it was actually a little difficult to see from where we were.
It was a soft call.
Even in the replay on TV.
Good on Dom. He realized to go down in the box at that point, which you got the call for, but it was a soft call.
It felt shoulder to shoulder on TV, but even the commentators were like, man, that smoke and everything and just, but it was weird. Like,
because it was 2 minutes after
it's a goal.
Mueller goal.
You've just dealt with this like yellow that you've read, then turned over to a penalty kick. I thought for sure
it was going to be VAR.
That's going to be VAR, and it was
not.
It wasn't.
Right.
So,
well, I thought he had a slight hand to the ear moment, but was it clear and obvious?
Well, you know the situation must have been. If that's the case, and I have to go back to the replay, I would say the ref would have to be in position to see that precisely and then wave off a VAR call. So, I saw he's got a hand.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because it would have to have been that and not so much the shoulder to shoulder.
Right.
But that is what's again.
It was also on a scoring opportunity. They took Dom down in the well, that's a debatable, but they took Dom down in the box as he was trying to go for a ball to put it in the net. So the referee did have a pretty good view of it. He was in a very good position of it. I would say the hardest part would be all that purple smoke.
Yeah,
that was hard to see.
If it had been recalled on a VAR, I wouldn't have been shocked. I don't know. If you take VAR out of the question, it's one of those calls. But It was just weird following the other VAR. Why
Right, to not have it reviewed.
Even if it resulted in the same thing.
In the smoke, Sasha steps up, buries it, sends the goal the other way, and just fires it. 2-2.
MLS Kylo Ren.
And can Orlando City pull off a win? 5 minutes later,
Dom Dwyer. Taking on two defenders all by himself, gets knocked to the ground, still manages to...
Good feet work.
To get up, split two defenders.
Do you know what that means?
Man.
Orlando's not very good without Dom because him coming back in we didn't really win until we had Dom back.
Yep.
Dudes starting off the season fun.
Exciting game.
The cardiac cats, as we've been called.
Yeah. I put the come from behind cats.
You did.
But it was, hey, it's 3 points. We'll take it. Move on to the next game.
Portland Timbers, the real story.
Still winless.
Struggling, especially away. And like this, giving up games.
Squandered again,
squandering games.
The lead. Yeah.
So, whereas Orlando's, the story is going down so early.
Yeah.
Constantly.
We let people score so early.
Oh, it's like, don't even try. And then you watch the last 20 minutes of that game and go, that probably should have been the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, what was...
Some really good substitutions kind of changed the tide of this game.
And players that came in that may not continue to be substitutions if they continue to show promise.
I think at this point they need to be because they're impact players. I think who we started was our strongest possible lineup, I feel like, for the first time all year.
I think our center backs play too far apart. We keep getting burned
split down the middle, dude.
Down the center.
Again, that's the style of play that Christ plays with that diamond, is to kind of split those center backs out and have that center defensive midfielder.
Well, the last game we won, which was switched
Johnston,
out of the diamond. Did he do that this time?
I don't think so. No. The substitutions may have changed it a little bit, which is maybe what you see, but
still, that's how we're getting scored on so early.
Right.
The other match we want to discuss was Chicago Fire 1-0 over Columbus Crew.
Nemanja Nikolić's first goal, I believe, this year.
27th minute, nice goal.
Off a mistake from the Columbus goalie.
Yeah.
But the stats in this were insane. Like Columbus dominated possession, had like 20
Should have
shots,
won.
And it was insane.
Not good for them. Also, we didn't talk about this last week, but man, the photos from the previous home game for Columbus Crew not making the case for
desolate.
That's why the ownership wants to leave.
Not making the case for keeping the club.
Yeah.
Cue the tumbleweeds.
I will say, not convinced about Austin. Man,
I'm not convinced. Yeah. I'm not convinced that's where they go. But I mean,
I'm just saying,
having a hard case for trying to keep them there.
There's too many other really good soccer.
That's what I mean. If
Sacramento.
If you want to go to Austin, you're
Louis.
competing with a lot there in Texas. Yeah, it's kind of a weird hip town that might jump on it, but Sacramento's, man, those dudes, they sell out over there. Even keeping it in Orlando and FC Cincinnati. I don't know.
Don't move the club and just let somebody else that is on the rise. The Cincinnati's, whoever come in,
give them the franchise. But Chicago Fire 1-0, good win for them dare dudes.
That brings us down to the return of Zlatan. LA Galaxy are playing Sporting KC. LA Galaxy lose 0-2 at home, and Sporting KC pretty much never lost the edge on this game.
No, they owned it.
Nope. And a lovely second goal by Johnny Russell in this game.
We got reminded prior to the derby just how much LA Galaxy had struggled.
Yep.
And they have, and they look like them again.
They did look like a different team when Zlatan came on, though.
I agree with that.
They had some chances. So I think you'll see him starting here soon.
Did you guys see the video of him with the LA Kings behind the scenes?
No.
He went to the hockey match, and they were kicking the soccer ball around in the back hall. And the hockey guys were like really good. They're doing that, that juggle
that's
thing.
Because they do it all the time.
Yeah.
Hockey guys throughout the league will play soccer just in the thing. It's good feet work. It's good concentration. It's good to kind of get them going.
It's hysterical to watch. They're just hanging out with Zlatan. You're like, man, it's hockey, but this dude's hanging out with these dudes, and they are looking at him like he's the coolest thing in the world. But it's a really cool video.
He came on and was an immediate impact.
Yep.
And
a couple long range shots that were
very nice. That the Sporting KC goaltender was on that night. He was ready for Zlatan's long range shots, 3 of which were just incredible. And I would say that's the only point which I think Sporting KC maybe took their foot off the pedal just a little bit, but then they reasserted their dominance, and LA really had nothing to say about it. So Sporting KC doing really good, and if I'm not mistaken, they're top of the table. Excuse me, they're top of the table right now.
I haven't checked it. It's kind of still early.
Sporting KC, yeah, they're on 13 points. They're top of the Western Conference. 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. So they're doing phenomenal, and you can tell they have a style of play you don't necessarily always see in MLS teams, and that's that grinding control over a game where they just slowly grind the opponent down, and that's why they're doing so well. So
sneaky good.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for them the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I said it earlier. If you get a chance, see the Johnny Russell goal in the 61st minute in this. Lovely ball into him. He takes on 2 defenders, splits them with a lovely kind of dink touch over and in between them, and then just slotted it home with a goalie coming out of him. Lovely, lovely goal. And he's you're going to see a lot from him this year. Revs routed the Impact.
Yeah, I would say we'll burn through these last few, but that's a big one. Brad Friedel, Revs 4-0 over
early
the
red
Montreal
card
Impact.
from the Impact, which kind of helped pave the way for it. But yeah, Brad Friedel, second win on the bounce, right?
Yeah.
Bedoya, second half header. Saw the Union draw with San Jose 1-1.
Yeah, that was a bit of a fun match toward the end there. The Union were just heaping shots at goal, just trying to make something happen, and that was fun to see the Union draw that out. That was good.
Then we got FC Dallas. It's late, but they draw the Rapids 1-1.
Also another nail biter toward the end. A lot of attacking play on FC Dallas.
And then Real Salt Lake. They take down the White. Oh no, let me Ferris wrote here. Real Salt Lake cooled down the Whitecaps for all 3 points, 2-1. Smooth Jazz.
To be 2QY.
Get it? Because they have the Utah Jazz and it's Real Salt Lake.
But Breck Shea did get another goal in this game. We mentioned on the
Breck
last
Shea
pod how
playing,
he's been playing very
thriving
well.
there with that system.
He's been having a good season. So
You
far.
need to get to some drier climate. He didn't function well in the humidity down here.
Hey, Blake.
Hey Ferris.
Since we had your daughter in the pod tonight,
Yeah.
that makes you what? A dad, right?
Okay.
Right.
I was like
Into-
tired.
Tired. Yeah. That makes you a dad.
Fair enough.
So
That's accurate.
Right. So what should we end the pod on? Yeah.
We're gonna some dad jokes.
Yep.
I'm gonna do one now, and then we'll do another one at the very end.
Okay.
So let me go to the. It was Ron, right? This was your Christmas present.
Yes, it was.
To me, the book of dad jokes. So it was just randomly flip through to. All right, where we at? I feel like I've done this one,
So skip it.
except it's a good one for Ron.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Okay. What happened? This is dad joke 189. What happened when the dad racing driver had a wheel failure? He had to retire. I got the second one's in here too. I'm going to save it.
I don't know if we've had that one on yet.
No, we haven't.
That's a
That's
good one,
not
though.
the one I was talking about, though. So as we wrap up, follow us on Untapped. Follow us on Twitter at Brewtiful Game. Find us on Facebook, on Instagram. Go to the website, thebrutifulgame.com. It drops an email if you leave us a review on Apple Podcast or iTunes, or whatever you choose to cause
Apples.
it. Apple, they've rebranded it to
Green,
Apple.
the red.
Granny Smith.
Granny Smith apple.
They've renamed it to Apple Podcasts instead of iTunes, and I keep saying iTunes, but I think most people think it's still iTunes. Whatever. That thing, the Apple you listen to your podcast through, leave a review there. Or if you listen to us on Stitcher or however you find your podcast, if you can leave a review and a rating, it's huge for us. It really helps push us up the chart so other people can find us.
Check out the website.
Yep. And on Untapped or social media anywhere, please. I had someone drop a line. Going to head to Vermont to look at some craft brew. Jeff V, who has dropped us a few lines on Untapped. If you've got recommendations or things we should try, man, let us know because it would be fun to try some stuff from different areas.
Hell, you could send us a beer and we'll
and
review
actually,
it.
that's what Jeff V was offering. To see if we were interested
that'd be
in
great,
getting some. And I said, "Oh, buddy, you let me know. We'll get this set up, and we'll get some koozie and like magnets out to you and stuff. And if you leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever, Apple Podcast, take a screenshot, send it to us on social media somehow, whatever, or email. TheBrewtifulGame@gmail.com is our email, and we will get a koozie and a magnet out to you.
Also,
And those of you that have, thank you very much.
new swag is coming.
Oh, it is?
Oh, is it?
Spoilers, gentlemen.
And we still got our T-shirts, which are super comfy.
Yep.
I got to get some more, actually. I need to
I want
a red
the
one.
red one. Yeah, I'm gonna
I
get
got to
the
get a
red
red
one,
one. If you go to their website and just click T-shirts, it'll take you there.
Do we have a purple one? We do have a purple one.
Yeah,
don't we?
well, we
I have one.
on the website. You have purple, gray, and red that is shown, but
I have a white one.
the folks who make it, yes, will do whatever you want. If you just, that's the easy ones to click on. But if you just drop them a line for the same price, they'll get a different color for you. So whatever club you support or however you want to do it, you just let the folks know, and they will get you set up real quick. Before we close out, I'm just real quick. If you listen to the pod, then you have heard our theme song that opens our show and closes it, which is a little tune called Whiskey Fairy that I wrote and recorded with an awesome band called the Tartan Terrors that I used to tour with back in the day. They're from Canada. I bring this up because one of the leaders of the group, Ellen Ermish, she just got diagnosed with third stage cervical cancer. So we are the group, and everybody's put together a GoFundMe, which I'm going to share on social media. Forget a review. If you can leave something there, that'd be awesome. She is up in Canada, so things like healthcare are kind of covered with the government, but it means she cannot work at all. So there's no income or anything like that coming on. So, again, she's part of the Tartan Terrors, who thank you guys for letting us, use the song as our theme song, but I just wanted to give them a shout out and her a shout out, and I will share the GoFundMe page. If you find it, you want to leave $1, whatever on there, it will all help to go to the goal to kind of give her a hand in this rough time.
Sorry to hear that.
And then good people. I'm sorry to hear it too. Now, last but not least, ladies and jelly spoons, we're going to end with one final dad joke.
Wait, that wasn't the dad joke?
We got one more. Not ladies and jelly spoons. Nope, that's the Eddie Izzard joke, which is something else he probably stole.
Do you have a flag?
Here's a good one for Ron.
Oh, Jesus.
What happened when the astronaut broke the law of gravity? He got a suspended sentence.
That's so stupid.
Yes!
Just play the outro music.
Love the beer, cherish the game, the Brewtiful Game. Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Woo!
Yes, ma'am. It is true. This man has no